Tell me, though, what's his technique? That last strike, it seems invincible.
Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. I'm Connor.
I'm Rebecca.
And we're back. Sorry for the delay. It's been difficult to do things, and this will be the last episode for about a month or so as well. But that's kind of our schedule anyway. So,
yeah.
But big thanks to our patrons Derek, Ray, and Anonymous Person. Thank you for help keeping the lights on. Hope you guys are enjoying what we're doing. And yeah, we're back today. We're just going to sneak in a Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, specifically issue 29.
Yes, that's what we got up to, right? So it's,
yes, the last time Iron Fist appeared was 24, which is the end of the Firebird saga, and now we're...
It's a little sort of standalone almost.
Yes, which is welcome.
Yes.
And yeah, so this came out, the release date September 28th, 1976. The cover date's October 1976, and this was around about the same time as Iron Fist 10 came out, but this takes place before Iron Fist 7, so Danny is still searching for...
Yes, they make it very clear.
Yes, which is nice, and Danny's still searching for Colleen. And
you can definitely tell it's a 70s comic.
Yeah. And we have the cover, Iron Fist versus Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi in the Arena of Death. Iron Fist is punching towards Shang-Chi with his flaming fist, and Shang-Chi is evading the blow, and we have a damsel in distress in the background who turns out to be a dude in the issue. And a mysterious figure watching them.
Yeah, that is quite funny. It's a woman on the cover.
Yeah. So...
yeah, it's a dude.
We have a neat little drawing of Iron Fist in the first page, punching a zombie samurai or something.
Zombie samurai, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it was just a skeleton of a samurai, and Iron Fist just decided to hit it with his iron fist.
I mean, who knows? It's hard to tell.
Or maybe he punched him so hard that he turned into a skeleton.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. So... yeah, so the past few issues from what I've seen have been like, there's been like Sons of the Tiger, there's been White Tiger, there's been like a Bruce Lee comic, and I think this might be the first time Iron Fist and Shang-Chi have appeared for a while in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, and the other story is...
I mean, we haven't seen them for a while, so...
yeah, the other story is a Sons of the Tiger story, and it looks like White Tiger's in that as well. And there's also what looks like a scathing film review ripoff at the OK box office, The Stranger and the Gunfighter. So,
that's funny. But
yeah, so Shang-Chi versus Iron Fist, Master of Kung Fu versus a living weapon, and we have like a spread of them fighting, or like a full page of them fighting, I should say, and we have like a little narration box. I am Shang-Chi, and though I have come to call Iron Fist my friend, I am now forced to face him in combat, and if possible, slay him. And then we have Iron Fist. You are Iron Fist, a man who has found one of his few friends in youth, called Shang-Chi.
I like that because it immediately sets off telling you they're friends.
Yeah. Are you listening, Mr. Person who plays Shang-Chi, who thinks they're enemies?
Please, I can't even.
You complete idiot. Complete moron. Complete stupid moron. Yes. Anyway, so now you must confront that friend in battle, a battle to the death.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how the narration boxes, I like how Iron Fist is in the second person and Shang-Chi's is normal.
Yeah.
I thought that was a neat touch. And... there's not that much to this issue. I think it's about 25 to 30-ish pages.
Yeah, it's a fairly easy read, fairly easy setup,
it's not
which is quite nice.
Dense,
some nice art.
It's not dense like Claremont's Firebird was.
No, it's definitely not. This is much more sort of leisure, easy to read.
It's very straightforward. The whole thing is, we start off with Shang-Chi, and we get flashbacks, and he's been hired by his friends he's been contacted by his friends in MI6 to find one of their missing agents.
Yeah.
And, they believe Fu Manchu, Shang-Chi's father, is behind the disappearance. And there's even like a
no
note.
longer his father, but his father because we're the 70s and they can use it.
Yeah. And there's like a note with a dagger attached signed by Fu Manchu and stuff. So Shang-Chi goes to investigate and find this person and ends up going through a maze. And there's also a bomb threat with Parliament.
A maze in the sewers of London.
Yes. And there's originally a bomb threat for Parliament. And they initially thought it was the IRA till they got the note.
Yeah.
What a shame if Parliament would have blown up.
Well, I mean...
I don't know, there's lots of innocent people working there and stuff.
There's lots of innocent people working there. It's interesting that they have no issue including the IRA in the comics at a time when there were bombing campaigns on the mainland. So it's just kind of interesting, like, where Marvel will and won't touch into real politics.
Well, I think that, like, Deadly Heads of Kung Fu is the one that gets away with more stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, even in Iron Fist, I mean, his mate at the start, they talk about the IRA, don't they?
That guy I hated.
Yeah.
But I also hated Misty more.
Okay.
Because those two were arguing the whole time. So I'm like, I hate this guy, but I hate what Misty's like, how she's.
But it's interesting. I mean, in this case, it kind of grounds it and makes it kind of real. And plot to blow up Parliament, blah blah blah.
The other one was quite silly.
The other one was quite silly. But yeah, so there's this. The other thing I love is that every time they talk about what streets it's under, they refer to them the American way.
Oh.
The corner of Shaftesbury and this, and it's like, we wouldn't say that. So just every time it kind of jumps out as this clearly an American writing this about London.
It's better than like Stan Lee writing. Though,
look, there's a lot worse things you could do than get that wrong, but it just made me laugh each time.
Oi,
but
stop Governor.
The idea of it being a maze in the sewers of London is far more funny. So.
I think it's a cool idea, though.
It's a cool idea. It is a cool idea. There's a reason they don't often put it in normality, is because it's clearly there are people who have to go and work in the sewers. A maze could not just appear there, But in this, in this instance, do quite like it.
The idea of like a sort of forgotten maze beneath a large city. Because cities a lot of the time are settled on top of older cities.
Yeah, and I mean London certainly. And I like the idea that Fu Manchu's into mazes as well.
Yeah, well, he's dastardly. He loves his dastardly mazes.
Mazes.
It turns out Fu Manchu's not even involved in this, although they did chase him through a maze at some point in 42 or
although
47.
he has kidnapped Miss Colleen.
Well, no, that was also a forgery. That was just a lure Iron Fist, and Master Khan has currently got Colleen in his clutches. Yeah, so, Shang-Chi goes looking in the maze, and we get scenes of Parliament for the drama and the stakes, and there's lots of cool martial artsy stuff. Shang-Chi kicks a hole in the wall when he senses the loose brick to go through the maze. Yep. He fights a series of villains going through the maze, and none of them are really trying to kill him. They're all trying to subdue him.
Yeah.
And we cut to Iron Fist, who has a much shorter recap. He's just chilling out in London, searching for Colleen Wing, and then he gets a note saying that she's being kidnapped by Fu Manchu. Come to this,
Yeah. Below Shaftesbury and Regent.
Yeah. So Iron Fist goes through, and he's mostly chasing a guy. Of Shang-Chi sort of walks through the sewers, but Iron Fist catches up to him, accidentally knocks him out because he hits his head on a wall after he punches him.
I thought that was funny.
I did too.
Oh, I accidentally knocked him out.
So he keeps going, and there's I do like the artwork as well.
Yeah, I do.
There's a lot of little nice touches. It's like they took their time. There's like the shot of Shang-Chi and Iron Fist's feet walking through the sludge of the sewer.
Yeah. There's just some really nice atmosphere. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
But just generally, there's no art that stands out as bad, and there's lots of details, and so the sewers, they don't have to do a lot of background, but even sometimes where they do, you get the brickwork, and it's good stuff.
It's also nice to go back to something a little bit simpler and smaller scale than the insanity that was the Bird of Fire saga.
Yeah.
And it was insanity. Like, so. Yeah, and then there's this one henchman who's like, haha, I don't have to get beat up. I'm just going to let them in. And, yeah, so he lets Shang-Chi in first, and then it turns out it's not Fu Manchu, it's guys who hate the East. Like, they hate they're a bunch of agents that hunted Fu Manchu back in the day, and they perceive him and China in general to be a threat to...
Yes, they're full on yellow peril.
Yeah, king and country.
To the point where they even mention it, so...
Yeah. And he's wearing like a spooky mask because, and it's weird, they're like... They mention a couple of times... Well, Iron Fist comes in too, and... He's much rougher with the guy by the door, actually. Iron Fist is generally rougher with people in this... Which I like the kind of contrast between the characters.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Shang-Chi and Iron Fist see, and they want to recruit Shang-Chi and Iron Fist to fight, this perceived yellow peril.
Yeah.
And, which, at least, like, I kind of like, they don't really go much into it, but I like the idea that they're probably twisted from their experiences with Fu Manchu and working as agents against them, that they've kind of gone a bit crazy. Like, they keep pointing out that they've gone crazy. And I feel like they point out that they've gone crazy because his plan isn't really that good.
I mean, it's a pretty bad plan.
It doesn't make much sense, so it's like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you guys will join us, and if you refuse to join us, you have to fight each other, or we'll cut Neville's throat.
Yeah, and you have to fight each other to the death.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things here that seem not the best.
Yeah, it's just, we want these two to fight.
Yeah, we have to find a reason for these two to fight. Okay.
And they never really fight, even. Like...
No. They like for 1 second, maybe.
Yeah, so they start to fight each other because they're like, alright, well, if we fight each other, we can maybe come up with a plan while we're doing it to save Neville and not have to kill each other. So they start feigning, like, they're making their moves really obvious, but the guy notices, he's like, I'm not an idiot. I know you're faking it, fight for real.
Yeah, use the Iron Fist.
Or I'll slit Neville's
throat. Oh yeah,
the
first when he says fight for real, then he starts like, use the Iron Fist, use the Iron Fist.
Yeah, fighting for real isn't enough. He's like, you gotta use the Iron Fist and just kill him, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they go back and forth a bit, and yeah, then he's, you have to use the Iron Fist. You're not 100%, unless you use the Iron Fist. And I was like, no, I won't. No, you have to. Shang-Chi's like, do it, it's fine, and maybe I can evade your blow. And Iron Fist goes, alright, if not, then I'm sorry. So he lunges at Shang-Chi with the Iron Fist. Shang-Chi dodges and Iron Fist smashes the wall. And they both get an idea.
Yeah, it takes that for them to like go, oh, wait a minute. We could do something with it.
So they have Iron Fist, Shang-Chi's leaning up against the pillar of the
balcony where the dude's watching from. Yeah.
So Iron Fist goes to strike him with the Iron Fist, then he just, Shang-Chi boosts the Iron Fist, and Iron Fist just blows up the balcony with his Iron Fist. And
to be fair, the dude does kind of see what's coming.
Yeah, no.
Before.
Yes, Shakao. And yes was like a caption, by the way. No one said that, so. Yeah, and it's like, now, Shang-Chi, it's time we started fighting together. I agree. And then they both, just lay waste pretty easily to the goons.
Yep, hand them into MI655.
Yep. They rescue Neville, but the bomb goes off. They're not fast enough to save Parliament. But the bomb's actually really small.
Yeah, it does no damage at all.
And then they bring the villain, Blevins. What the bloody deuce? And Blevins is like, oh, look, I'm trying to protect England, so it wouldn't make much sense if I blew up Parliament. So I was just bluffing. And I was like, okay, that's like actually a sensible thing he's done. That's like the only sensible thing.
Yeah.
That's the only sensible part of his plan. So
Pretty much.
Yeah. And they report back to Smith. Tell them all about like what are they calling it? Their crusade. Let's see. It's like a super. Anyway, like they have some crusade that they were forming a group to join them, and they report it. And Smith asks, "Were you two ever fighting each other for real?"
Yeah, he wants to know who would really win.
You
can tell us what he really wants to know.
He's like, would you really have killed each other if it comes to that? Perhaps, Smith, that is an answer we do not know, and perhaps it is better that way, Shang-Chi says. And solemnly, Iron Fist, you agree with Shang-Chi, your friend. They don't strike me as the type to go out for a beer afterwards. Maybe they'll meditate together and have some tea.
No. Well, Danny's very focused on finding Colleen.
That's true, he probably gets straight back to it, yeah.
I mean, he could have asked Shang-Chi to help, but no.
Yeah, that's actually... Yeah, it's a good point. But I mean, maybe Shang-Chi's busy with other stuff, his James Bond stuff. So... Yeah, look, I mean, despite the questionable, plot of the issue, I still really enjoyed it. It was just fun.
Liked it. I like it just having let's get them together, have a bit of a fight. It's easy one and done. There's no, nothing that has to pull over to anything else. I don't have to be like, is Iron Fist going to be put in a bad situation that he can't get out of?
Yeah, there's no anxiety there as an Iron Fist fan.
No.
It's just like, you kind of know you're in for a good time, so. The Cadre of Salvation.
Yeah.
Cadre, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, yeah. Cadre of Salvation.
They
want him to be the savior.
It was fun. Very
It's also
standard.
nice not to have it in America.
Yes, that too. It was a bit more of a quote-unquote exotic setting in London. It was written by Doug Metch, and the art was by which the art was really good. So I definitely want to remember the artist.
So he's did the other Deadly Arts, didn't he?
He's done some of them, yeah.
Yeah. Doug Metch, of course, famously Moon Knight.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I really liked it. I think it's like, to some people this would be throwaway, but it's nice when you find little pockets of Iron Fist that are just good.
If this is throwaway, what's Iron Fist been for the past year or so?
Yeah,
Trash.
I know.
You're right, because this is it's just kind of average, but it's good, and a lot of care went into the artwork, so.
And it's not a full issue. It's like something in a bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger magazine, but it's good fun,
Yeah.
It's nice to see them get together, kind of team up, but it's not much of a team up. It's just a little bit of a team up. They both seem to get what they want from it, and there's none of this real grandstanding over who's better.
No, it's funny because it mentions in the issue that they'd met before in the annual, so maybe that's the only time they've met before this. And it's still pretty early with Iron Fist as well. We're on his solo series in about issue 10, so he's had 15 issues or so in his solo run. So a couple of years.
Good to see him being brought in.
Yeah. So that was fun. This is Iron Fist news. There's not really any. I think that mini-series is finished.
Yeah, I don't know of any, actually.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. So again, I'll be back in a little bit, about a month or so. Never mind. and probably Heroes for Hire or more Deadly Hands. It depends on scheduling and stuff.
Maybe a bit of both.
I think Iron Fist is in Deadly Hands until it ends, which is at 33. So
okay, so we've got a few more issues.
Yeah. And I wonder what... I'm curious what issue 30... I want to have a look. I want to have a sneak peek at what's in store.
Oh, I don't have 30, which implies he's not in it.
Yeah, it looks like he's not. Okay, maybe it's 31.
31. White Tiger, Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, and Jack of Hearts.
Oh, it's a big team-up bonanza.
Big team-up bonanza.
Yeah. Who is Jack of Hearts?
We'll talk about that at the time.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, we'll make sure you check out Ray's Moon Knight podcast, Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast, Last Sons of Krypton, a Superman podcast, my other podcast, which has also been delayed, which will have an episode going up this week as well. And Rebecca is on the DCAU podcast, which I was on recently to talk about.
You're on the most recent one, yep.
Yep,
So...
Superman, Man of Tomorrow. And, yeah. Anything else, Rebecca? Or...
No, I think that's it. I mean, keep listening, and hopefully we'll get the Marvel solicit soon. Maybe we'll have some Iron Fist news finally.
Yeah.
See.
Cool. All right. Until next time, may your fists be like unto a thing of iron.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want really. It doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon, our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast, our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are, our YouTube, Connor Carl, just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section, and last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikorsky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.